friends, one of their pumps had broke down. It was $9,000 to fix a pump. So they had to sell cattle that they had for 10 years, their breeding stock, to pay.
They'll spend the week out west, repairing gear and providing peace of mind.
If we can go out and make these things safe to drive, or make their life a little bit easier, so you know the tractor's going to start when they turn the key, for instance, they're not jump starting it, or it's not leaking oil and fuel and things like that everywhere.
Jacinta Lee, NBN News.
Still to come. The race to save innocent lives after a weapons depot explodes in Syria.
This app contains over 15 mistakes.
Hey kids, looks like the old cubby house has just been turned into a magical princess dream castle. Right, what are you waiting for? Play!
Nailed it. Didn't spot them all. Search Specsavers.
Is your tummy in tune? Fibre helps the good bacteria in your gut to thrive. So start your day with a bowl of Kellogg's Fibre cereal. Is your gut fibre fit?
Hipsters. Jack, you're even smarter with your money now.
Handcrafted those? Handcrafted.
So take out APIA home insurance plus car insurance and you'll get 10% off both. It's time to switch to APIA.
Ready to do something you'll love? The Subaru Impreza with up to 5 years unlimited kilometre warranty. From $24,990 to $32,990 drive away. Unbelievable value. Hurry, ends August 31.
Bet Easy is everything you loved about CrownBet and William Hill, but bigger and better. More rewards, more offers, and even more markets.
But don't take our word for it.
Download the Bet Easy app now and experience it for yourself. Can we split that 11 ways?
Done.
Running a business has its hurdles, so we've developed simple solutions like ANZ Blade Pay, which with the right app can help you get on top of your business.
Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With a good feet, arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad.
See if they work for you with a free fitting and test walk at Good Feet Store Katara.
The Mitsubishi Diamond Day sale will make your day with incredible deals on a range of new vehicles, including up to $2,000 of genuine accessories, plus 2 years free servicing and a rock-solid 7 years warranty. Hurry, there's just 7 days to make them all yours. It's Diamond Days, years of value. With Mitsubishi, the time of your life starts now.
I know what you're thinking. Why would Purple Bricks bother to get you a higher sale price when they don't charge commission? Discover why at purplebricks.com.au.
At least 12 children are among 39 people killed when a weapons depot exploded in a building housing civilians in northern Syria. Rescuers are scouring the ruins, pulling out those trapped beneath the rubble.
How could anyone survive this? The buildings that stood here were home to families and children, many of whom are now buried under the rubble. Rescue workers, Syrian white helmets, dig desperately, searching for signs of life, and then finally, a reason to cheer. A young boy found alive and carried to safety. Then a little girl, a toddler, she's injured and hurried into a waiting ambulance. Miracles in a scene of total devastation. More followed, but few survived the blast in the city of Samara near the Turkish border, and dozens are still missing. It's thought an arms depot in the basement of one of the buildings blew up. Syrian civilians, displaced by years of war, had been living alongside a weapons dealer.
A man has been questioned by police as detectives tried to unravel a mystery in Sydney. A sick woman was found dead and her partner injured in a Penshurst home. A nurse discovered them both when she made a routine house call.
Happy at times, Alan Greentree and his partner Dawn Butterworth celebrating Christmas last year. But today, tragedy for the couple. A home nurse on a regular visit discovered 67-year-old Miss Butterworth's body in her Penshurst apartment. Her longtime partner was nearby, bleeding from what appeared to be self-inflicted wounds to his arms.
The injuries the gentleman has sustained are not considered life-threatening.
He was taken to hospital while police sealed off the block of flats and turned it into a crime scene. Neighbours who knew the couple shocked by what had happened.
I saw it on the cops. He was sitting up just like he was in bed there.
It's thought the victim may have been dead for a number of hours. How she died, police aren't saying, but sources concede she suffered a violent death.
We do believe it may be
Neighbours who knew the couple shocked by what had happened.
I saw it on the cops. He was sitting up just like he was in bed there.
It's thought the victim may have been dead for a number of hours. How she died, police aren't saying, but sources concede she suffered a violent death.
We do believe it may be domestic related.
The victim, Dawn Butterworth, has been in and out of hospital in recent months after suffering a long illness. Friends say she'd become frail and needed a walking frame. Her apparent murder has left everyone here completely stunned. After receiving treatment at St George Hospital, Alan Greentree was late this afternoon arrested by detectives and taken to Hurstville Police Station, where he's now being questioned over his partner's death. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
And if you or someone you know is struggling to cope, you can contact Lifeline 24 hours a day on 13 11 14. A man who was fatally stabbed in Sydney last Friday has been identified as 30-year-old hip-hop artist Jet McKee. Mr. McKee collapsed in the street at Forest Lodge after apparently being stabbed with a samurai sword. Police are searching for a man and a woman over the attack. The Prime Minister is taking fire from all sides, with two of his own high-profile backbenchers attempting to derail his key energy policy. Pressure is also building to detail how the government awarded nearly $500 million in taxpayer cash to a private charity.
The Prime Minister returned to Fortress Parliament to find himself under siege from the opposition.
$17 billion to the big banks.
So reckless of taxpayers' money and his own. The touchstone issue is the price of power. Because Barnaby Joyce and Tony Abbott are leading the charge against Malcolm Turnbull's electricity plan.
My specific concerns with the so-called National Energy Guarantee are that it will not reduce price.
The plan has to clear the coalition party room tomorrow before the Labor states will sign up. Tony Abbott says it's too green.
It's all about reducing emissions. It's not about cutting price.
Coalition infighting makes opposition easy.
Does the Prime Minister agree with the man he replaced?
And in taking aim at Labor, Malcolm Turnbull fired a shot through the former Prime Minister.
The Honourable Member knows very well what happens when you now allow ideology and idiocy to take charge of energy policy. He knows very well.
The government's also being pressed to detail how a small private charity, the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, won a nearly $500 million grant in record time.
Rushed out of the department in just 24 hours.
Treasury put the cash into the Environment Department's account on June 27. The same day, the grant deal with the foundation was signed, and the entire amount, representing 6 years' worth of funding, was paid out the very next day.
Money into saving the reef and advancing its health, Mr. Speaker.
Under fire from all sides, it will be a busy week for the Energy and Environment Minister. Chris Ullman, NBN News.
It was seen as a painless and permanent birth control solution, the metal coil contraceptive device eSure. But a class action has now been launched, and thousands of Australian women are joining it after being left with crippling side effects from the implant.
When Tanya Davidson decided 4 children was enough, she turned to a permanent contraceptive. This metal coil, called Assure, was sold by Bayer. It was implanted in both her fallopian tubes. She says it's given her 8 years of hell. Hair loss, bleeding, chronic fatigue and stabbing pain.
I was told by one GP that it was all in my head, and others was I should maybe go see a female doctor, they might know what's going on with me.
The device was recalled in Australia a year ago, but only after poor sales. Law firm Slater & Gordon is launching a class action on behalf of dozens of women who have suffered complications.
Because the device is metal and pointy, the device has been perforating organs, so perforating uteruses, even I've heard of a perforated bowel.
Bayer has refused to reveal how many of the Assure devices were sold in Australia, but Slater & Gordon estimates that until it was taken off the market in 2017, some 3,000 to 5,000 women had the coil implanted. In a statement to Channel 9, Bayer said, "We are committed to the proper and objective consideration of any legal claim." Tanya Davidson says one of the worst symptoms was what she calls a brain fog, so bad she thought she had Alzheimer's. She eventually had a hysterectomy to remove the device.
I still get sharp pains on the right side of my body. The chronic fatigue is extremely hard to deal with.
Mark Burrows, NBN News.
By ship and by truck, farmers enjoying good times are now helping farmers doing it tough. A convoy of semis today loaded up stock feed in Western Australia and prepared for the long run to the eastern states.
We're doing it for a great cause. Obviously we know there's a severe drought in the eastern states and we're obviously having an excellent year in Western Australia.
From Tasmania, another load of hay with trucks rolling off a ferry in Melbourne and heading north. And donations to the Today Show Drought fundraiser have now passed $3.8 million. You can still help by going to the website.